Hey guys, and welcome to Victoria's Little Peanut Nursery. I'm Victoria, and I'm so glad that you are here. This is not my studio. I am at my second favorite place, and that is subbing. Anyway, if you are new, please consider after watching or during the videos, subscribing or liking the video. If you're one of my old friends, thank you so much for coming back. Today we're going to be jumping right into the overlay method. I really like the last layer of this kit. So if you are ready to see the end results, let's jump right back into where we left off. This is Ariana after a few rounds of layers from the last video. And then I want to show you where we're going to end up by the end of the video. So in the Americano series, we have gone through 1, 2, 3, 4 mugs. And in the process, the color has shifted, the color has gotten darker. However, when you get to mug 4, you will apply it just as the color mixture states. There will be a time, such as now, that you will actually take this particular mug and you will go darker by using less thinning medium or solvent and more pigment in order to create this shade right here, which is the burnt umber that we're going to use a lot of. And currently on the side of the pot is the mixture. I just forgot to record at that time, so I am just showing you how I created it. And we're going to take a bit more blue than we did when we initially created this shade, and that's because we want to make sure that we neutralize the orange that's in burnt umber as well as darken the burnt umber, because we are creating like the darkest version of mug 4. And that's the beauty of having this skin tone card, the Americano, or any of my cards, that you're able to change the ratio of colors to get darker or get lighter if you're wanting to achieve something else. And this is carbon black that we're adding here and just mixing for you to see. And I'm going to add a very little bit of thinning medium that unfortunately I did not capture here, but I'll show you where I added in a very little bit of Gamsol into this mixture. And that's just 2 pumps that I'm going to put at the bottom to help me move the pan around. Let's go ahead and add that in here. Darker shade is to get as close as I possibly can to true espresso and hot water. And the only way to do that is to use less of a diluting agent, those being the thinning medium and the mineral spirits, and salt or the thinning medium to be more precise. So with that being said, the paint will be a little bit thicker, and we'll use a touch of the Gamsol to help it along the way. But in order to achieve a really darker skin tone, to get really close to the skin tone wash that's on mug 4. I just want to give a quick shout out to God. For anybody who is like, what just happened? Yes, that's what I said. I have been challenged in my health recently, and I am just so grateful that things that could be are not. And my being in here today was not going to happen. But thankfully, and gratefully, I'm in here. And I am so glad to be able to do what it is that I love. If you guys don't know, please make sure that you are taking care of yourself in this particular industry, because it's a very sedentary role, job, what have you. It's a very sedentary job. So with that being said, you really need to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, mentally, physically, and all the things, and definitely spiritually. But I will get back into what we're doing, but you can see here the dark shading that we have on that side, and now into the nostrils. I'm now going to do the corners of the mouth. Now, how I'm doing these lips is just personal preference. You could find baby lips on Google, stock images, on Pinterest for inspiration. But you guys know that I am going by the baby from our skin tone card because this mom wants me to reproduce that work, and I am doing my very best. To do so. I didn't really need to go over here because it's already pretty dark. It's the color I want it to be right here on the lip. So let's go ahead and shade the other eyelid. I'm just taking this brush and like blending the dark shading that I just did just outward, just so it can just to blend it, just so that there's no harsh lines and everything looks seamless. Okay, so now what we're going to do is put a little bit around the bottom of the nostril. Just a little bit, not much. We don't want it to look like there's dry crust. Get this one time, because as we know, we're going for this, we're going for this color back here. So we're going to go over this a few times, and by the time it's all said and done, this won't be as dark. It won't stand out as much. Oh, one thing I want to do is just get the ears really quickly. See how dark that is? That's what we want it to look like. That's what we want. Then we'll turn the ear around so that we can make sure it all blends. And even pull out this brush, this angled brush. point for a seamless transition of color. And then we'll go to the sides and back of the head. Let this air dry, and we'll put it into the oven for 9 minutes, facing one way, then turn it around and let it cure again for 9 minutes. Hey, so I'm just jumping back in really quickly to show you what a few layers will look like of mug 4 after you have applied it. So we have applied about 4 layers of mug 4, and it's now time to start blending, if you will, the darker areas into the lighter areas. Now at this point, I'm going to take the same dark color that we've been working with in mug 4, and I'm now going to add that into the highlighted areas as well as the darker areas. Now you're probably thinking, well, won't the darker get darker? Yes, it will, therefore enhancing more depth and more dimension. So I'm going to throw on a few layers, adding this particular mug color onto the kit a few times, and then I will do 1 or 2 times just in the highlighted areas. I do not want them to ever get to a point where, I do not want the layers to ever get to a point to where they look as though they're one. I want to continue to work on the depth of this kit that we've already worked hard to achieve in the shading, and blend the darkness already into the light areas, and bring this kit up to where this baby is. So admit that this is an old technique and a very basic technique. So the beauty of mom being adamant about wanting her baby to replicate that other one that I did is that you guys get to see an approach in creating depth and dimension with a darker skin tone without having to do too much work. So let's go ahead and get started with adding a few layers all over the kit, and then we will add a few more layers just like on the highlighted areas so that we can blend everything, but again, keep the depth and dimension, because what we don't want is a baby alive. So let's go ahead and get started with our head and then the one arm and the one leg that we do on camera. Okay, so let's do a quick comparison check. So this one has 3 layers on it, and this one has 2 layers on it. So as you can tell, whenever it dries down, it's not as golden, but you can tell that the color is there. You can tell that the color is taking effect, of course. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this into this one into the oven, and then we'll apply the 3rd layer onto this leg. Right, so we are now about 4 layers in with our overlay method, blending that dark into the light areas. And we can see that we have pretty much done a great job blending or blurring those lines. I have oil on my hand, but it's okay. So with that in mind, I'm going to add 1 more layer into the highlighted areas to get the color that I really want to get in getting to this baby back here. So let's go ahead and add 1 more layer going into our very thick mixture, or your less diluted mixture, if you will, just into. I don't have gloves on because I've used them all. I've ran out, so I'm waiting on Amazon to deliver me some new gloves today. But we're gonna keep going forward. So all I'm gonna do is take this color and add it onto the arms and the legs so that I can continue to blend or blur the lines and make this more cohesive and not look like it's 5 different tones. So I'm just concentrating on the areas that still appear a little light. All right, so let's begin to go ahead and pounce. I decided to add a layer onto the shaded part because I noticed that I was losing a little bit of dimension. So if you notice this when you are painting, feel free to add in another layer. And here we are. This is where we've ended up. If you've watched until this point, thank you so much. And I will see you in the next video, which will be a detailed video. See you soon.